Good day and welcome to Sports Paradise. I'm Dub, short for Big Dub, and remember, you could leave life right now, so let that determine what you do, say, and think. Hope everyone had a great weekend. It was a great sports weekend, of course. The weekend's always a fun time. Big games, big events. So today, we're going to talk about sports, of course. We'll talk about MLB opening weekend. The Premier League was finally back. We'll go over some results. We'll wrap up the Miami Open and look ahead to the next ATP and WTA 1000s. And we'll discuss some events that happen in the NHL and the NBA, update the playoff races, awards, and then we'll go over some fantasy sports results. The first week of playoffs are done, and now we're going to the second week or the championship week. Okay, so it was a great weekend in the MLB. Any weekend where the MLB is back is a great weekend, and it was an opening weekend. The Jays, they started off well. They won their first game against the Rays 8-2. And then they lost the next two games and they could hardly hit. And then they won the game last night by 9-2. So that was good. They ended up going 2-2 against the Rays opening series, 4-game series, but it could have been better, of course. Last season the Jays had issues facing good pitching. They had issues coming up clutch. They had issues hitting with runners in scoring position. And that seems to be the case again so far this season. First series, of course, but it was frustrating to watch those games where they lost, where they just couldn't get hits, where the top guys couldn't come in clutch and get big hits. Springer, back-to-back game with a home run, but besides that, he only had 2 hits. Vladdy had a good average. He had a few hits, took a few walks, so that was good to see. He hit a bomb home run in the first game, but didn't really get any clutch hits. Bo, same thing, no clutch hits. Varsho didn't do much. It was mostly the back of the lineup hitting that was doing the most damage, who was getting at least some hits here and there. Not home runs, but just hits to get runs scored, to get some RBI. But besides that, it was tough offensively. As usual, the pitching was well. Started with Berrios getting the win, only allowing a couple of runs on Thursday. Bassett, he had a good start, but he gave up a grand slam, and that was what really did all the damage this weekend, or during his start. But Kikuchi got a bit roughed up on his start. And then Gosman, he came in and did well on his pitch count. It was good to see Justin Turner. He came in for Bo in the third. He hit for Bo Bichette had neck spasms on Sunday, so he didn't start. He was a late scratch. Justin Turner, who was hitting 4th in the lineup, he moved up to 3rd and he did damage. He 4 RBI. Home run, double, single, almost had to cycle if he got a triple. So that's good to see. Maybe John Schneider should leave him in the 3rd spot, even when Bo comes back, and maybe hit Bo 4th, maybe hit Vladdy 4th, because top of the lineup, I mean, Springer can get on base, Vlad takes walks, gets some hits, but then 3rd and 4th, they had to really be able to drive them home. So far, Bo was a bit cold, and then Turner came in and was doing well in the 3rd spot. After in the 4th spot, Turner wasn't really doing that well. So maybe switch him around and see how that goes. It doesn't hurt on the 5th game of the season, 2nd series, to see how that experiment goes with Turner hitting 3rd and Bo hitting 4th. I want to see that. It's just momentum. The hot hand, leave him where he is, Leave him where he is. Besides that, Varsho had a couple of good hits, but not really doing any damage with runs in scoring position or or coming up clutch. Kirk had some clutch hits. Clement did pretty well. Kind of Falefa did pretty well. Biggio had a home run in the first series, so that was good to see. But he kind of tailed off a bit to end the series. But good to see he's back and he's healthy. So the pitching, like I said, was good. It's just, I mean, you'd think the pitching was bad that because they allowed 9 runs in the Friday and Saturday games, but they weren't that bad. Like I said, Bassett just gave up a grand slam. Kikuchi probably didn't do that well, but he could have done better. So the next series for the Blue Jays is gonna be starting today, 8:10 Eastern time. They're gonna be in Houston. Houston, surprisingly, is still looking for their first win of the season. They got swept over the weekend by the Astros, or they got swept over the weekend by the Yankees. And the Jays, it's going to be another tough series for them to win, to play against, but hopefully they'll do well. Today, the starting pitchers are, let's see. For the Jays, Bowden Francis is starting, and for the Astros, Ronel Blanco is starting. And those two, they might not last long. They might just open the game and then hand it to relievers for the rest. But Bowden Francis, we'll see how he does. I'm not too sure how he is. I think last year he pitched a bit, but didn't really, impress that much. We'll see how he does compared to how Tiedemann does in the minors so far. I think his first start he did, half decent, but didn't like mow down batters like we all want him to. And Ronel Blanco, I never really heard of him. He's just the 5th starter for the Astros, it seems like. So the Jays hitters can hopefully get some hits off him like they did yesterday with Tyler Alexander on the mound for the Rays. They really hit him up a lot. Against mid pitchers, the Jays can do well, but against good pitchers, they just get dominated. And that's got to be something they have to change, because the Jays have stars, and when it's star versus star, there's no excuse for the hitters to not get hits. Like, look at Juan Soto. Look at what he did over the weekend. Just coming up clutch every single time we need him, or the Yankees needed him to. Mookie Betts coming up clutch. Even Teoscar Hernandez coming up clutch. But the Jays, those hitters, they aren't coming up clutch. Gurriel, he's on fire to start the season. Has like 2 or 3 home runs already. Gabriel Moreno, he's done okay so far. But all the ex-Jays are doing fantastic, and we have players who aren't doing that well to start. But it's only been one series, but it could be a trend. So, what else happened in the weekend of MLB? I mentioned Soto and the Yankees. They were down a bit in the game, and then Soto led their comeback. He threw from the outfield, from right field, and he gunned the guy out at the plate who was going to be the tying run, saved the game there. He had a couple of go-ahead RBI, and he gets on base. He takes a lot of walks. Like, he's hitting like probably like around 500. Of course, it's not going to last, but Soto is an incredible hitter. I guess it's not fair to put Bo, Springer, Vladdy in the same convo as him, but they can be, especially Vladdy. So the Yankees are 4-0. They swept the Astros, and they lead the AL East for now. And I thought that the Jays would come in, at least second place to Baltimore. But if Soto plays like this all season, which he will, Judge didn't even have a great series, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be a tight race. It's only the fourth game of the season. A lot of games to go, 158 to go. So a lot could happen. But the Jays, they're all saying, oh, they had a great preseason. Vladdy had a great preseason, and then he came and didn't really do much. Bo didn't really do much. Springer 2 home runs, but besides that, that was the only hits he got. He got a few walks, but he's got to be better. So Ohtani and the Dodgers won their series. They've had a few great comeback wins, but Ohtani didn't really contribute that much. I don't think he had an RBI. He struggled to get on base, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I guess I know. I'm gonna mad at Vladdy and Bo for not doing well, for Springer for not doing well, but Ohtani I give some leeway too. I don't know why, but I guess when it's not your own team, it's different. But Ohtani should improve. But the weekend's MVPs for the Dodgers, Mookie Betts and Teoscar. Like, Mookie already has 4 home runs. Teoscar has probably 4 home runs too. He hit a home run last night that was clutch. He hit 2 home runs in one game over the weekend. That was clutch. And I guess more importantly, that what the Dodgers really wanted to see was their prize pitching acquisition really improved. Yamamoto, he pitched 5 innings, allowed 0 runs, 5 strikeouts, and that was a good bounce back start for him against St. Louis, who's, I guess you could say, is a bit of a weak lineup compared to the Padres, but it's good to see him still dominate the game. Dodgers got the win, which is the most important. The Dodgers also have a lot of young pitching prospects who are good. A lot of young pitchers who are good. I mean, they're going to be an amazing team, obviously. Pitching-wise, bullpen-wise, and especially offensively. Corbin Burnes had a great debut for the Baltimore Orioles. He had 11 strikeouts in 6 innings, only gave up 1 run, 1 hit, and that was a home run to Mike Trout. And then after that, he was just cruising. 11 strikeouts in a debut is great, obviously. I didn't pick him for Cy Young. I thought he would struggle a bit. I mean, I still think he will, because he faced the Angels, and that's a weak lineup too. Of course, the only hit was against the best player in the world, arguably, who or was the best player, who's just been a bit injury prone recently, Mike Trout. But yeah, the offense looks great. Pitching staff looks good. And they seem to be on their way. It's going to be a dogfight in the AL East to see who wins that division. In the National League, the Diamondbacks also look great. Their offense, I kind of undervalued them, seems like, but their division is tough. The NL West is tough, of course, but the D-backs offense, they're facing Colorado. Colorado doesn't have great pitching, but they have a scary offense. Corbin Carroll, Gurriel was going off over the weekend. Christian Walker had a couple of home runs. Moreno had big time hits. Moreno had big time hits and a couple of runs scored. So the Diamondbacks are looking good right now. But I'm sticking with my predictions. I'm not going to change. It's too late to change. They're locked in. My predictions are locked in. So let's see how they done over the weekend. So my picks for MVP, Bryce Harper. He didn't have an MVP weekend at all, I gotta say. It was kind of disappointing to see him perform like that against the Braves. He should have came in. He could have had some big hits, but he didn't. But it's only the first series. He's gonna improve, of course. But tough to see, especially when other players really showed their MVP caliber seasons, their potential. My other MVP pick, Julio Rodriguez, he had an okay series versus Boston. Seattle went 2-2, and Julio had a walk-off hit in one of the games, so that was good to see. But he wasn't like spectacular. I'm just bringing up my MVP picks. Maybe I'll bring them up weekly to see the updates on like the power rankings for the MVP. That could be another segment. My picks for Cy Young. Spencer Strider did okay. He only allowed 2 runs, but only went 5 innings because his pitch count was getting high. That could be one of his issues that prevents him from winning Cy Young is not going deep into games because of a high pitch count. Like only going 5 innings, 2 runs. Like their ERA is still in the pretty much in the threes. So it's not that impressive when people win Cy Young have ERAs in the 2s. But he struck out 9, which is good. Didn't walk a lot of batters. My other Cy Young pick, Kevin Gausman, he was on a pitch count because he only had one spring training start, which he did quite well on. So he only threw 69 pitches. He pitched into the 5th, but didn't finish the 5th. Not because he was in trouble, but just because didn't want to overexert him. He only gave up 1 run, 2 hits, so that was a great start for a pitch count. He would have done much better, or like he would have continued what he was doing if he pitched to the 6th into the 7th. He's just that kind of great pitcher. So probably the best start of the season so far is Corbin Burns. But Gausman was great, and he's gonna get better. He's gonna be stretched out, and he should do well. Fantastic Cy Young caliber as the year goes on. My picks for Rookie of the Year, AL, Wyatt Langford. He had a good weekend. He had a triple, he had 3 RBI, and he hit 333. That's good for a rookie in his first series. Usually you might see them, sometimes you see him get off to a hot start and then cool down, or sometimes it's the opposite, but good to see he didn't do that well. My pick for the NL, Jackson Chourio. He also had a good start to his career. 5 hits, 2 RBI, and he hit 417. So that was good to see. So far, I guess I could be right about those picks. And like I said, compared to pitchers, they play every day, so they're gonna have potential to get better stats, more important stats, more consistent stats. But Kyle Harrison did pretty well for the Giants in the start against a tough lineup like the Padres. He gave up a home run to Machado, so it's hard to fault him. Or maybe it was Tatis, but he didn't get beat up like Yamamoto in his first start. But like I said, Yamamoto, he improved in his second start, which is good to see, because I want him to do well, of course, just for the Dodgers' sake. Because I don't know, I guess I like the Dodgers. When a team is that good, there are a lot of good players. So this weekend, the international break finally ended and the Premier League came back. There are some games to look forward to if you're a neutral fan watching the title race, or if you're a fan of other teams. There are some good teams, but let's talk about Chelsea before we talk about the other events. Oh, Chelsea. They came back from their international break against Burnley. Burnley is facing relegation, going back to the Championship League, and Chelsea came out. It seemed like they were trying to show off. It seemed like they took advantage of the situation and wasn't playing very tactically. They were playing very selfishly, it seemed like, just wanting to score fantasy goals, just taking shots, even though it wasn't the best option for a shot. And they ended up, even though they were at home, even though they're facing a team facing regulation, they only tied them 2-2. And that was very disappointing to see. But honestly, I was surprised. But then obviously, at the same time, considering Chelsea's performance the last 2 seasons, it's not really surprising at all. They're just inconsistent. Like, they play down to their competition and play up to their competition. But if you saw them play, you would be disappointed. They missed a few chances. the goalie for Burnley was making a lot of great saves. He made a lot of great saves, but for the most part, they weren't the best shot opportunities. Cole Palmer, he scored a nice penalty. He did score a nice penalty like that. When I saw it go in, I was like, this guy is nasty. He's great. Like just the composure it takes to pull that off in that moment, it was just like world class. And Palmer is world class. But I felt like he wanted to do it all himself. He was trying so hard to be fancy, to score fancy goals, just to shoot the ball from anywhere, even though it wasn't the best shot. Like a defender always blocked the shot, or it went wide, or it was saved, etc. When he could have passed, and that led to other players being selfish and trying to do the same thing. And football is a team sport. The only way you're gonna score consistently is by getting the perfect shot opportunity, and it seemed like they weren't looking for that. Like there was a chance where Gusto was going down the wing and he shot it right at the goalie. He could have passed it. Gallagher was open. He was calling for the ball. He could have shot it. There was an opportunity where Gallagher was calling for the ball a lot, but he never got it from Cole Palmer. And then one time, Gallagher got the ball and he took a shot when it wasn't the best shot, where Cole Palmer was open. And then you see Palmer yelling at Gallagher to pass the ball. So that showed a bit of not cohesiveness as a group. And for them, like, I mean, they allowed 2 goals. Petrovic, I haven't really been impressed with his saves capabilities, but he's good. He's okay. But like I said before, I think Sanchez is better making saves than Petrovic is. But I'm not going to complain because the team has to score more than 2 goals against a team like Burnley. It's just unacceptable. The midfield, they played okay. Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher. But I feel like maybe Mudryk should be playing in the midfield, replace Gallagher. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough call because Gallagher's been playing great all season. Mudryk has that sense in the midfield, though, it seems like. So they have to find next season, do something to get like a guy in the wing. Like the best lineup, it probably could be next season. The best lineup could probably be Nkuku striker, Jackson Palmer on the wing, Mudryk playing the 10 spot, and then Caicedo, Enzo, or whoever, Lavia. I don't know, but we also need to improve the center backs because Disasi and Badiashile, like I call them not doing great at all, and like it could have been their fault that some goals went in. Honestly, Petrovic the tying goal that Burnley scored. Petrovic could have caught the ball, but he didn't know what to do, and then he misplayed it and went in the net. It went off his hands and went in the back of the net, and that's got to be a save. The goal that Burnley scored early on in the second half, that could have been a save too. If you're in the right position, if you're reading the play well, he could have saved that. I feel like, but it's no excuse for Chelsea to lose that game because they could have scored. They should have scored more than 2 goals. All the chances they missed, all the bad selfish play that they were doing, it's not a good look. And next game they're gonna be facing Man United. Chelsea's at Stamford Bridge. And I believe they might show up for that game. The last game against Man United, Chelsea was embarrassed, but they didn't get blown out because United was a bad team then too. But based on how they played, it was just a terrible performance by Chelsea. So now they're at home, and after getting embarrassed to Man United, the last game they played, after getting embarrassed to Burnley in this game recently, if they come out and get schooled again, it's gonna be just embarrassing. And Pochettino might get fired, which would be sad to say. And I believe it was this time last year where Graham Potter got fired. And the difference between Potter and Pochettino is that Poch had all of preseason to prepare, and Graham Potter came in like mid-season, and they're still in 11th place. Even though you can blame injuries for what's happened to Chelsea, it's not. You can't just always blame injuries. The team just seems to not be playing that well on a consistent basis. Like, the reason why they might do well against United is because United is a good competition for them, and they're gonna want to come out and try to perform and score some goals, play hard defense. But against a team like Burnley, it shouldn't have been that close. They gotta step on their throats. Like, it shouldn't have been that close, and it was embarrassing. And everyone's in Twitter comments, Instagram comments, let's all laugh at Chelsea, and then the crying of laughter emoji. Like, that has to stop. They gotta play with pride. As far as the title race goes, nothing really changed over the weekend. Liverpool won a tight game versus Brighton. Liverpool ended up winning 3-1, I believe, but it was pretty close. Brighton had their chances but couldn't capitalize, or it was 2-1. I believe it was 2-1, but Brighton could have tied the game, but they didn't. Tough to score, especially when there's so much pressure on you to score. Liverpool, Salah, Luis Diaz scored, and they managed to keep their hold on first place in the Premier League. Man City versus Arsenal, that ended 0-0, and it was sad to see no one scored, because you always want to see goals, you always want to see someone come out on top, and that settled nothing. So like Pep Guardiola said, the race is no longer in Man City's hands. They're gonna win out, but they could have made a big dent last game if they won. But good for Arsenal for going on the road and holding strong, because near the end it was so tense. Like, the Man City crowd was cheering, they were cheering, but then it got so quiet because Man City was passing the ball around. They're trying to score. They're just trying to get the best opportunity, but Arsenal just held tight and got the draw 0-0. That was good. So going into next week, Liverpool is still on top with 67 points. Arsenal has 65 and Man City has 64. It seems that I think Liverpool will hold on to it. I think Man City is going to pass Arsenal because Chelsea is going to face Arsenal and they might draw that game, while Man City is probably going to win the rest of their games, along with, same with Liverpool. So I don't really see Liverpool blowing the lead. I don't see Man City losing again, and I feel like Arsenal is going to have a tough road because they're playing Champions League and Premier League. So we'll see what they value most. But anyways, just a last word on football. Cole Palmer, even though he was playing selfish a bit, he scored what could have been a game-winning goal, a nice fancy goal, a nice pass from Raheem Sterling, and he is definitely world class, and he is the best under 21 player in the world, and he's had such an impressive season. 31 goals and assists in 33 games, around there. That's unbelievable. So good for Cole Palmer. It's just that Chelsea needs 10 more of him. But like I said, Nico Jackson, he's great. The right back, left back, Gusto, Cucurella, they're great. The midfield, Enzo Caicedo, does pretty well. It's just the effort and the consistency they're looking for. So the Miami Open ended over the weekend. Not going to be another Masters 1000, until next week for the men. But for Miami Open, Danielle Collins, she won, which is great to see, an American win. She beat Rybakina 7-5, 6-3. Rybakina played well throughout the match, but the home crowd must have gave Collins that extra boost, extra confidence, extra motivation to try to get over the line. and she did it. Good for her. Yannick Sinner, he beat Dimitrov in straight sets, 6-3, 6-1 to win a second Masters 1000. And Yannick Sinner is absolutely incredible this season. Like he's I don't know. Alcaraz is great, but Yannick Sinner this season has been the best, and I think now he's number 2 in the world. I'm not sure who he overpassed, if it was Alcaraz or Djokovic, but it might be Alcaraz 1, Sinner 2, and Djokovic 3, because Nikola Djokovic didn't play in the Miami Open. And he recently split ways with his coach or his trainer or someone important to his box. But back to Sinner. So Dimitrov from Hungary, who Sinner faced in the finals, he upset Alcaraz, made it look easy. He upset Zverev, made it look easy. And then Sinner came in and made that look easy. 6-3, 6-1. Like, how? How could he do that? That's absolutely insane as far as tennis skills go, because Dimitrov was trying everything, and Sinner just was there to stop it, to break, to do everything it took. 6-3, 6-1. He made Dimitrov look like an unranked player. But he was trying his best, so you can't fault him. So now that spring is upon us, the clay season is starting. There's a few ATP 500, WTA 500s in between, but next week, April 8th, the Monte Carlo 1000 is starting. That's going to be ATP 1000 for the men on clay, and we're going to see who's going to be playing in that. Should be the big three: Djokovic, Alcaraz, and Sinner playing. Zverev, Medvedev, all the rest, the Americans. And then the next 1000 for the women is going to be in Spain, Madrid, starting 23rd of April. And like I said, that should be another star-studded affair. But there's going to be a few 250s and 500s that people are going to be watching, because there's not going to be a 1000 till then, and they got to be playing tennis. So there's going to be like a 500 in Germany sometime before the 1000 in Spain. But it's all in preparation for Roland Garros, the Grand Slam in France, that's going to start on the 26th of May. And hopefully, well, it's obviously going to be entertaining, but I want to see Mushova come back for that. We see how the Americans do. Rybakina, Sabalenka, Swiatek, they should all do well. So in the NHL this weekend, the Leafs had a great weekend. They won 2 games. They beat the Caps and they beat the Sabres, and they looked well doing so. Matthews scored his 60th goal. Nylander scored his 40th goal, and those two guys have been consistent all season long. But maybe Nylander has been more consistent because he has a few more points than Matthews, and Nylander's going to get 100 points, which should be good for him. Obviously, the team MVP is going to be Matthews for 60 goals, but good for Nylander for getting back-to-back 40-goal seasons and looking to get his first 100-point season. And even Marner hasn't gotten 100 points yet. So if Nylander gets 100 points, or when he does, because he's only like 5 points back of 100, has 10 games to do so, he'll get it. It's going to be great for his confidence, and he's going to prove that he earns his contract. But obviously, what's most important for the Leafs are the playoffs, and that's going to be just around the corner. In about 2 weeks, the playoffs going to be starting, and the Leafs, thanks to their good weekend, they remain 4 points ahead of Tampa Bay, But Tampa Bay also had a good weekend. They're on a 3-game winning streak, so the Leafs, they can't stop winning, obviously. But obviously their playoff hopes are not in jeopardy. But they don't want to be a wild card spot. That's gonna be tough. Not a good look for a team like the Leafs. Samsonov, Joseph Wall, back-to-back good starts for them. Samsonov got a shutout versus Buffalo when Buffalo just came off scoring 5 goals versus New Jersey. Samsonov has been very inconsistent this year, but that was to start the year. He's been better as the year went on, but he hasn't been great, I would say. He hasn't been too great. The Capitals didn't have the best weekend. They lost both their games. First game to the Leafs, and then they lost in overtime to the Boston Bruins. But at least they managed to get a point. So now they're third place in the Metropolitan Division. Flyers are in the last wildcard spot. Good for the Capitals. Everyone thought, like I've mentioned before in episodes, everyone thought the Capitals were done. At the deadline, they were sellers, but they're fighting. They're getting good goalies, good goaltending. Their aging players are doing well. Oshie, Ovi, John Carlson, who played his 1,000th game over the weekend, and their young players are getting some motivation too. Like they're helping the Caps get some depth scoring, but against teams like Leafs, like Boston, where those guys are much faster, much more skilled young players than the Caps have, they're gonna struggle. So I mean, in the playoffs, anything can happen, but it's gonna be probably a first round exit for the Caps. But that'd be a good season for the young players to get that experience, because Ovi, Oshie, Carlson, etc., they already have that experience of the playoffs. But the young players, now they're gonna go through what it's like to, play in the first round, play against tough teams, and see how it goes. But depending who they play, because like Carolina, they aren't that great of a team in the playoffs. Like they can be pushed around, they can lose, but they have great goaltending. They do. They have great goaltending, but the playoffs are a different beast than the regular season. Oh man, you're gonna see what I mean by Carolina's great goaltending just when I go through this fantasy update later on. So in the Eastern Conference, like I said, the Flyers lost 4 in a row. The Islanders and the Devils, they have an outside chance. The Detroit Red Wings are on a 4-game losing streak too. So it's just the Eastern Conference is pretty weak. Whenever you look, someone's on a 4-game losing streak. Someone's losing games. If not, the top teams are the ones who's always winning. But the Eastern Conference is weak. Except for the top teams like Boston, Florida, and the Rangers, and maybe Carolina you can add into that. But in the Western Conference, nothing's really changed as far as the playoff race goes. The Blues are trying to get the last spot, but it seems very unlikely. They're 5 points behind the Kings for the second wild card spot, but the Kings are a better team, better depth. The Blues, they had a slow start. They've been inconsistent, and now they're just barely trying to survive, trying to get to the playoffs. But they're 5 points back, and it doesn't look good. It'll take a miracle. The other teams aren't even worth mentioning. So currently, the Rangers with 104 points are gonna win the President's Trophy. Dallas Stars 103 points, second place for President's Trophy. Bruins, Canes have 101 points, and Vancouver has 100 points. So the President's Trophy race is gonna be tight, which is good to see in the NHL. But as we've seen in multiple occasions, the President's Trophy winners doesn't really matter. But if I would bet now, I'd probably pick Colorado, Vegas to win the Stanley Cup. One of those teams. The Hart Trophy race is also tight. Like Kucherov has a lot of points, but Tampa Bay is kind of struggling, even though they're winning. They're on a 4-game win streak now. But I believe the Hart Trophy race is down to McKinnon and McDavid, two Canadians, two players going to be on Team Canada for the next Olympics. And McKinnon has 47 goals, 80 assists, 127 points. McDavid, 29 goals, 96 assists, almost 100, and 125 points. I would say, in my opinion, like, I'd give it to McKinnon. I guess it's kind of a sentimental vote because McKinnon hasn't won MVP before, and McDavid already has like two, I think. But McKinnon was also more consistent all year. Like, he didn't have a slow start like Edmonton did. Like, McDavid has really come on, but 29 goals. It's, even though he gets 100 assists probably, 29 goals isn't, I wouldn't say, MVP worthy. Like, 47 goals from McKinnon, and he might get 50. He might get like 135 points, 140 points. McKinnon probably will get the same amount of, or McDavid might get the same amount of points as McKinnon. But I would say 50 goals, 80 assists is more impressive than just like McDavid might get like 35 goals to end the season, but he doesn't look to score. He wants to pass, and you can get secondary assists, but you can't get secondary goals. So I believe McKinnon should win the Hart Trophy. That's just my opinion, but we'll see. The year is wrapping up, and we're gonna see. In the NBA, the Raptors continue to lose. They're on a 13-game losing streak, with their G League team playing. The game of the night last night was OKC versus the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. OKC won that, 113-112. That was a back and forth game. I wish I could have watched more of it, but all the stars, they came out to shine. Brunson scored 61 points in a loss against San Antonio, where Wembanyama got 40 points, 20 rebounds. That was an incredible game too. But OKC beat the Knicks at home yesterday, and playoffs are getting close. As far as the standings goes, nothing is really changing much in the East. Celtics have an 11-game gap against second place Milwaukee Bucks. That'll stick for sure. Magic, New York Knicks, Cavaliers fighting for who's gonna get like 3rd, 4th, 5th seed. And then the Pacers and Heat are fighting to avoid the play-in tournament. The Sixers, the Bulls, the Hawks seem to be gonna be locks for the play-in tournament. But the Sixers, I heard this morning, are gonna get Embiid back this week, or sometime by the end of this week he should be playing. So that's, I hope he's ready to play. I hope he can be as dominant as he was as before he went out. But it's always a risk with knee injuries and big men. It could get aggravated. I don't know if it's worth putting him back in, but he still has 2 weeks in the regular season and still can perform in the playoffs. But just a knee injury, it's tough. It's tough to come back from. Like Scotty Barnes has a hand injury. Like, he broke his hand, and even though he could probably play if he wanted to, he's not gonna come back this season. He won't come back. So the Western Conference, OKC currently 1st place and Denver 2nd place. OKC's up by 0.5, and they're going back and forth. OKC has been very consistent all season long, so they deserve their respect. You think that Denver, they go on a roll and they are going to win the Western Conference, but OKC is right there with them still. Timberwolves also in 3rd place. You thought that without, or not you, but people would have thought that without Towns playing, they probably would have suffered the same results as the Sixers without Embiid. But, Anthony Edwards, Gobert, they're like, especially Anthony Edwards, he's a game changer. He's one of those players who can just carry the team, and that's what he's been doing. They're only 1 game back of only 1 game back of Denver for second place in the Western Conference. So they're still doing well without their star centerman, Karl-Anthony Towns. The Pelicans, the Mavericks, who are on a 7-game winning streak, the Clippers, they're all fighting for positions in the Western Conference. And the Mavericks won a great game last night against the Rockets. They ended the Rockets' 11-game winning streak. The Rockets, they pretty much have to win every game as the year goes down because they're trying to get in the playoff tournament, the play-in tournament, where they're right behind Golden State. And Golden State's on a 4-game winning streak, which it's good for them, but I don't really trust them in the playoffs. But of course, anything can happen, especially with teams who are experienced, but I don't expect too much from Golden State or the Lakers, or maybe even the Suns and the Kings, who are in the play-in tournament. But as everyone knows, I'm a fan of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, so I want the Suns to do well. The Kings, like Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, they're great players, and they're in the play-in tournament. The Lakers and Golden State, they're just veterans, full of veterans. LeBron, of course, Steph Curry, of course, Clay, Draymond, who's just seems to be losing his mind. Like in the NFL, okay, and this is a joke, I guess, but in the NFL, you see players with CTE losing their minds and acting the fool. But Draymond kicked out of the game again for getting 2 technical fouls over the weekend. Steph Curry near tears during that game after he saw Draymond get kicked out. And then Draymond goes on his podcast, "Oh, that can't happen. I take responsibility for what happened. That can't happen. Oh, I'm so sorry for my team, etc., etc." I thought he was doing therapy. And there's so many memes on the internet mocking Draymond Green's therapy excuse, which doesn't seem to be working. But yeah, maybe has some CTE. But how could you have CTE in the NBA? So yeah, it's something weird to see with Draymond Green. But he has some sort of issues. Maybe he's like autistic or something like that. I don't know. But he's gotta really get his act together, because if it's something he can't help, because he does have a history, everyone knows. So if it's something he can't help, he's got to try to. Golden State has got to do something about that. They really do, because they're gonna need him in the play-in tournament. Anyways, I have respect for people. I respect people what they go through with autism and whatnot, and CTE is a serious issue. But for the sake of making jokes, I just had to make a joke. But forgive me. Anyways, MVP in the Western Conference or in the league seems to be Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Canadian. He's had a great year being consistent, and OKC has been first place in the Western Conference for pretty much the entire year, while the Denver Nuggets, they had a bit of a kind of a slow start where they had to heat up over the All-Star break. So but Jokic is just so much better. So that's why he probably won MVP, because he's just so much better than everyone else on the court. Okay, so you know what time it is? It's time for the usual Monday fantasy sports update. The first round of playoffs ended this season, or ended this week. Whether you're in like an ESPN Standard League where the playoffs last 2 weeks, or if you're in the Custom League where the playoffs last 1 week, either way, you're going to the second round or the championship round this weekend, or this week, these 2 weeks coming up to end the season. And MLB started this weekend, and kind of an up and down weekend for me in MLB, but we're gonna see. So what we'll look at first is my MLB fantasy teams, because there's not really a lot of drama to go on there. The playoffs are not really, going on yet. So I'll start with what's least important. This team, rotisserie league, I'm 10th place. My offense is just horrendous. Last place in on-base percentage. Last place in stolen bases. not enough runs scored, home runs, total bases, or RBIs. It's just not good. So over the weekend, I was like up to 5th place, but then my offense is not good. Moreno, 2 for 12, 1 walk, but he had a good first game. Since then, he hasn't gotten a hit. 231 on base percentage. That's going to improve, of course, you'd hope. Pete Alonso, he had a pretty good weekend, but not too many RBI. Only 1 run scored off his own home run. RBI off his own home run, but a 417 on base percentage is what I need. Marcus Semien, quite well. I trust him to do well. Jordan Westberg, Jeremy Pena, he's been doing okay, but like he has 6 hits, 438 on base percentage, which is great, but 1 run scored, no RBI. I don't know. Astros are gonna pick it up, and of course, facing Toronto this week, he might go off because everyone's gonna go up versus Toronto, of course. Torkelson has been doing well so far. Supposed to get some home runs, no home runs. 286 on base percentage, which isn't that great. Yordan Alvarez, 2 of 17, 2 walks, 211 on base percentage, like no RBI, 1 run scored, but in facing the Jays again, so he might go off. Michael Harris, he's been one of my better players. He has a home run. George Springer, he has good stats, but not a lot of hits, not a high on base percentage. Mark Canha, he has a home run and he's done well, but when he had a home run, I benched him, so that was my mistake. And my bench is just full of players who are not doing anything. But my pitching, as you can see here, they've been doing okay. 287 ERA, 894 whip, 3 saves, leading in quality starts with 3 wins, a good amount of strikeouts. They did well. Eflin got a bit roughed up. Montgomery hasn't started yet, but Javier, Kyle Harrison, like I said, did well. Charlie Morton tonight, he should do well. Pablo Lopez, he did well. Reed Detmers, I benched him yesterday versus Baltimore, but because Baltimore's offense is something else, and he did very well. He got the win, 7 strikeouts, but stats didn't count for me because he's on the bench. So today, hopefully, Charlie Morton can do well versus White Sox lineup that's kind of weak. Give me some good stats, some strikeouts, but my offense just come through for me for once. Just come through for me for once, offense. It's a long season, but I need you. Like, the first place team is at 139 points already. Like, I gotta improve. Look at me, all the way down in 10th place. Look at 1, 3, 4, 7. That's terrible. I need more strikeouts. This is the strikeouts category. I need more strikeouts, but like I said, my pitching has been doing okay besides everything else. The next team, Toronto Blue Jays, 0-1. I lost 11-9 off some BS. I gotta really say, like I was leading going into the late game, which was Dodgers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. I was leading in average, but then Gavin Lux, who was out, he didn't start the game. I should have put him on the bench. He came in to pinch hit, or he came into the game. He had 2 at bats. He went 0 for 2, and that cost me. That actually cost me. And this offense is horrendous. It's pretty bad. Max hits I had was like only 4. Pena 6 hits, but 1 RBI, or 1 run scored, 1 RBI. It's just not that great. No stolen bases. Only 4 home runs. So it's my offense. I know my offense isn't that great in this league. It's gonna be a tough season, a long season. But my pitching, they did pretty well over the weekend in the first matchup. Flaherty had a great start. I was watching that start, and he kind of got some calls, some strikes going his way. But hey, I'm not complaining. But he's gonna have to really improve over the course of the season to get more. So because he won't get a lot of good calls every single start. Joe Ryan did pretty well. Bassett, he could have done better, of course. Gave up a grand slam. Cole Reagans took the loss, but he struck out 9. He did pretty well. JP France I added yesterday to get me some more innings pitched, because in order to qualify for innings pitched you need 40, and I was only gonna get like 35 because I only had Jack Flaherty pitching, so I had to add JP France, and he pitched okay. Yeah, I'll say it wasn't a bad start. My relief pitchers done pretty well over the weekend, and Logan Allen had a kind of a mid start, but he got the win. Cease took the loss. High pitch count, could have done better, but I ended up losing 11-9 because look how close on base percentage or average was. Look how close. 5 home runs. Like, ay. Not a good look. His team came up clutch. Max Muncy got a home run yesterday. Christian Walker got a home run yesterday, but he only got 5 hits. But look, 5 hits, 6 runs scored, 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Me, 9 hits. I guess I wasn't like it was okay, but for the most part my team was terrible. Offensively, my team is terrible. So 0 for 1, and it's gonna be a long season. I'd be surprised if I even win 1 game. This week I'm facing the Houston Astros. Let's see how his team looks. Like, better than mine. He has a great offense. Looks like, yeah, good offense. Like 10 times better than my offense. And his pitching seems okay. Like, my pitching is probably more consistent, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be another tight matchup because I don't have star players on my team. And my stars, Vladdy, Jordan. Oh my God, it's going to be rough. But I managed to get 1 win in the league with my friend, the Standard ESPN League. This is who I'm facing this week. My friend, who we're going to see in hockey and basketball shortly. This team had a good week. Luzardo, Rodriguez, Kyle Harrison, they had great starts. My relief pitchers, Munoz, Suarez, got a couple of saves. My offense, like I said, Bryce Harper didn't really do well. Only got 1 point over the weekend, but everyone else did well. Gunnar, Acuna, Swanson, Wyatt Langford, Bobachet. Maybe he'll play today. I'll put him back in the lineup if he is playing today. But I managed to win, so that's good. I'm a 1-0, and today I'm facing this week I'm facing my friend, and I hope I win that. Go 2-0. This team is pretty good, but the pitching might be an issue for me, but not really. Over the course of the season, I should manage to be okay, win a championship in this league. So next up is basketball. And the first week of the playoffs, I managed to get through 6-2. So now it's the championship matchup. The Shooters in the Rye versus Jordan Owens Lemicki. And this team is my friend's team. So it's gonna be whoever wins this is gonna get $50. It's gonna be getting $50. I believe my team is better than his team. Is better all season long. So we'll see. Today he has Halliburton, Schroeder, Herbert Jones playing. And I have Kobe White, Dosumu, Devin Booker, Johnson, who's probably won't play, and Nurkic, who should be getting better. He was injured a bit, so hopefully now he's going to be coming back to normal, getting a lot of rebounds, high shooting percentage, etc. So we'll see. Like, I have Scotty Barnes on the bench or on the IR. He ain't coming back, but I'm scared to drop him in case he does come back. Johnson, let's see what it says about him. He's questionable for today's game. So let's see. Hopefully he plays. We need him to play. I'll update as the week goes along, or I'll update again on Monday, but I'm confident I'll win this. I'm confident. Okay. On to hockey playoffs now. I had a bye week last week, so I could relax in this league. I'm facing Brooklyn Islanders. He had a better record than me during the regular season, 134, 75, and 11. I was 130, 84, and 6. As he was on his team. This is only going to be a 1 week matchup, I believe. So this is my team. Stamkos, Jewin, Farabee playing tonight. Byfield, Moore, Bertuzzi playing tonight. Adam Fox, Ekholm, Middlestat playing tonight. And I have Samsonov starting. So that should be I should get some points, put some points up. Let's see who he has playing tonight. Kempe, Point, Vergi, McCann, Evander Kane. He has some good players playing today. He has a lot of players, more than I do. Any goalies? Sorokin. That might be a good start for Sorokin. So hopefully hopefully Samsonov can do well versus Florida. The Leafs got to continue their winning streak. And hopefully I can move on to the championship round. Yep, this is only a 1 week matchup. Monday to Sunday. I'm trying to get to the championship round. Let's see how I do. This league, Toronto Maple Leafs, I escaped the first week. I won 10-5, which is pretty convincing, but it was kind of close. So today I have Barkov playing. He should give me some few points, a good amount of stats. I have Trevor Moore, and then I have Travis Sanheim playing. Marner still on the IR, but he should be back this week. And I have Boissault playing for Winnipeg. And then Justus Allen, he came. Colorado allowed a few goals in the last game. He came in, and he got the win, even though he didn't start against Nashville. So he might start today against Columbus. And Columbus, kind of a weak team. Colorado's still trying to win. McKinnon gets some points, some goals. So hopefully he shows up and is consistent as he always been so far in his brief NHL career. Only 9 starts this season, but 6 wins. 932 save percentage, 218 goals against. Great. I need that against Buffalo Sabres. And Buffalo 17-6 had a great season, but I beat him twice this year so far. So I'm feeling good. My team, they're not no slouches. He has Grubauer playing today, maybe against Sharks, but that's a weak matchup. And then Samsonov, who I'm a Leafs fan, so I want him to do well, but let's see how he does. The guy I'm facing today has Panarin on his team. Could do well. Drew Doughty, Dubois, Ehlers, Monahan, Middlestat. And I only have 3 guys playing today, so it could be a struggle, but we'll see. It's a toss-up at this point. The winner's bracket: Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs, Pittsburgh Penguins, Seattle Kraken. Let's see what the championship matchup will be like. Hopefully I can win. But for this, there's no money on the line, only bragging rights. And then, for all the goals, I managed to win by a good margin last week. 255 to 206. I had some good performances by my players. Matthews, 60 goals. A lot of points today. I have a good amount of players playing. I have 4 goalies, and I probably go with Anunin over Talbot to start. He's guaranteed start if he starts. Samsonov against Florida. I'm gonna ride the hot hand. Even though Talbot has been doing well. Well, kind of well. He lost his last game, but can't win them all. Kings trying to fight for playoffs, so they should win that game. But Winnipeg is also a good team, so I'm gonna just ride Samsonov and ride Colorado's goalie Anunin. They have good matchups. So I just picked up Druin. I picked up Svechnikov. I had to pick him up. So hopefully he's on a cold streak right now, as you can see. 0-0-0-0-0-0-0-0. Hasn't really been doing much. No goals since March 14th. That's been rough, but he might get on a hot streak. He should be on a hot streak. He can't end the season doing this kind of play. And my friend, who you've seen in previous leagues so far, went 19-3. He was down. He was losing on Sunday, and then he came back and won, and I'm not surprised. He won. I was wishing that he would lose. We were at Moxie's on Saturday, and I was like, man, I hope you lose. And he was like, I know you hope I lose. But yeah, he came back and won. So now another championship matchup between us two, basketball and now hockey. $50 on the line, and of course my goal is to win $100. And if I win in this, if I win in basketball, it's not going to be an upset. I have a better team in basketball. He has a better team in hockey, so I have to win in hockey, because I feel like in basketball the players I have are just great all around, depth wise, and he has the same in hockey. But I don't know, like my players in hockey could go on a hot streak. It could be like that where it's a prize. Plus the goalies, you're gonna see how they do. But his goalies are Carolina and Florida, 2 good teams. So it is what it is. Like this guy, Kocheskov, shutout when he needed it the most. Anderson, 1 goal against, shutout. Incredible. Canes are a good team. Today he has a lot of stars playing. It's going to be tough. But I have faith that my goalies are going to push me over the edge. My team, they're going to rebound. They're going to get on a hot streak finally and help me win. I'm confident in my team. So I'll update how it goes at the end of the week and see how we're doing. Okay, so this week is race week. Formula One is back. They're going to be in Japan. Should be another fun race after Carlos Sainz won the last race. Who knows what will happen this weekend? It could be another surprise, hopefully. More MLB action. Jay is going to be playing Houston. Leafs looking to continue to win. Caps trying to stay in the playoffs. No tennis. NBA playoff race is going to be heating up. MVP race is going to be heating up. And the Premier League is going to be back. It's going to be continuing on the weekend. Champions League is going to be playing next week on April 9th is starting. So we'll see. We'll see how the week goes. It should be fun to see what happens. And as baseball starts up, as NHL and NBA wrap up, March Madness, man, North Carolina, they lost. They could have won the game they lost, but Alabama, they're in the Final Four now, so good for Alabama. My bracket's officially busted, but it lasted a long time, my Final Four, but we'll see. tonight, the women's matchup that everyone wants to see, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, LSU versus Iowa. That's going to be a great matchup. Maybe I'll tune into that, but we'll see how it goes. I keep sighing. Today is Monday. I felt like I could have done better in this episode. I feel like when there's players at home, or players, I'm too much into sports, but I feel like when there's people at home, it's a holiday today, so I have everyone at home with me. Like, I don't have like a wife and kids, but I have my parents and my sister at home, and they make a lot of noise, always talking loud, disturbing me, blah blah blah. But I feel like I kind of mess up a bit when I'm not alone in the house. But I managed to get through this episode. I gotta work on some more things, but this show is just my opinion. Sports Paradise. It used to be Dubs Paradise, but now it's just Sports Paradise. Or maybe I should name it Dubs Sports Paradise. But that's just more names. But yeah, thanks for watching. And remember to enjoy your day. Like, comment, and subscribe. Any opinions, thoughts, how I can improve. I'm trying to get some more jerseys in the background. As you can see, I have Deutschland's football sweater and Anaheim Ducks retro sweater in the background. So trying to make it different every week. All right. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.